Welcome to the Open Pakistan webinar series. The Open Pakistan webinar series is an initiative of Open Program for Pakistan. These programs provide professional development opportunities to English language learners and teachers all across Pakistan. These opportunities are provided by Regional English Language Office RELO at US Embassy Islamabad. These opportunities include open global online courses, massive open online courses, webinar series, and then engaging our alumni into different fruitful activities. In Pakistan, it is implemented by Evolution. If you wish to stay updated about Travel Pakistan and its opportunities, you can visit www.facebook.com/relopakistan. You can also subscribe to Relo Pakistan YouTube channel. If you wish to stay updated about Open Program for Pakistan, you can visit www.evolution.com.pk/eteacher. Under the Open Pakistan webinar series, we are broadcasting our first webinar of series 5. Topic for our webinar is Teaching English Methods and Approaches in 21st Century. The presenter for our today's session is Zafar Ali Shah. Zafar Ali Shah is an Open Pakistan alumnus from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. He has completed 8-week Open Global Online courses sponsored by Relo Pakistan. Zafar has also worked as a mentor in the Open eTeacher mentorship program and provided online support to ELTs in transitioning to online teaching. He has also successfully completed several MOOCs and AE Live series. Zafar is a teacher, trainer, and facilitator in continuous professional development program of elementary and secondary education KPK. Currently, he is serving as a secondary school teacher and he is teaching English. This webinar will enable the participants to differentiate methods, approach, and techniques in language teaching. You will be able to understand post-method era and different learning styles. So without any delay, I would like to welcome Zafar to present our webinar.
Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. It's pleasure to be here. Our webinar topic is English language teaching methods and approaches in the 21st century. So let's start our webinar. As a warm up, please think and write about these questions that how do learners acquire second language and how did you learn, how do you teach and what are the helpful techniques. It's a kind of self-reflection and you can also pause the video for some time to write the answers to questions. So let's discuss our first topic, the first objective of the webinar, that is method versus approach versus technique. Because teachers are sometimes confused about where to and how to demarcate them, how to differentiate amongst these three. So it's a short example. We can say that especially the method and the approach, they are two facets of one picture. At what point of view, at one side it is approach, at the other side it is method. Or we can say that approach is the soul or mind, while the method is body and the technique are different organs of that body. If we explain it with a further example, let's take an example of an architect who plans and draws a sketch of a building on a paper. That is theoretical, that is approach, and the building on the ground, which is there in practice. So that is method. When theory is put into practice, that becomes method, and different portions of that building are supposed to act as techniques or activities, strategies, etc. So it's a hierarchy where approach is at the top and followed by method where we put the theory into practice. It becomes method. So there are two facets of one picture. On one side, it is approach or theory, while on the other side, it is a method. And techniques are different activities, different strategies. As a further example, which is shared with me by one of my colleagues about an Indian author, an educationist, who told the story of his primary school teacher, that the primary school teacher, when he entered the class, he used to meet each and every student and ask about different questions about their day, that how was your day, how are you doing, and he would ask about the absent students, and then he would start reading and ask the students to open the book at page number so and so, and the student had to read the text in pairs, in groups, and a silent reading, reading aloud, whole class reading, and then the educationist says that his teacher would show them some charts and presentations, and at the end he would sum up all the activities. So the educationist says that now, when as a grown up and as an educationist, I have realized that the first thing the teacher did was his approach to the SLOs, which was based on a research or theory, and the total language presentation, the language material presentation, that was method. And different activities, for example, the pair reading activity, or the group reading activity, that acted as a technique, strategy, or you can call it something that is categorized, that is analyzed. When the method is analyzed into different techniques, different activities, it is called a technique or techniques. So, according to Richard and Rogers, there are three important point of view which are basically based on the learning theories. For example, Piaget's theory of cognition and Vygotsky's theory, or Dewey's experimental learning or learning through inquiry, where students learn by inquiring, by asking questions, which lead to further questions, further inquiry, and at the end, better knowledge is achieved. So, these point of views or these theories are based on learning theories, and these are the views about the language learning theories. So, the first is structure view, which focuses on phonology and grammar. Number two is functional view. The functional view specially focuses on meaning functions, and communicative language teaching method is used. And number three is interactional view, focuses on conveying and receiving authentic messages that are meaningful. And task-based language teaching method is used for it, and which is my favorite and one of the best method for learning. Let's discuss dominant methods. So they are divided into two: traditional approaches and humanistic approaches, or we can say the old methods and the new methods. Especially the communicative language teaching and task-based learning are most popular methods. This is summary of language teaching methods and detail. Now, after discussing approaches and methods, how to decide which method? So you need to ask yourselves these questions. You must have the knowledge about your students, your background, your teaching context, and your theoretical knowledge, because theoretical knowledge is a driving force for a method. So, all these things are necessary for deciding a method, and it will depend on your own experience and your own reflection that which method suits your context and your environment the best. Now we come to post method era, and we are now in a post method era, and the 21st century is the post method era, especially the post COVID-19, where we have transition to online teaching. So it's very much necessary. And the teacher role is important, because in the post method era, it's very important. The teacher role is very important because he has to equip himself and he has to update himself about all the teaching changes, and he should transform and adopt methods. The big picture is that we need to develop an English language teaching rationale for selection of a method. And as you know, that there are some educationists who have opposed different methods in the 21st century, and especially Brown, who says that we lay to rest methods, and also that it is the era of the death of the methods. So, Brown focuses on different techniques and strategies. So, methods would be replaced by approaches and theories, and techniques and strategies would be based on those researches, theories, and approaches. And Brown also suggests some advice that the teacher should have a diagnosis and then a treatment, and then the result, check the result of that, how was his class. Now we come to teachers' roles in language, English language teaching, because the teacher role is, as I said earlier, the teacher role is very important, and teacher role is no more a director and the controller of the classroom activities, but he is a facilitator. And as Ken Robinson says, that the role of a creative leader is not to have all the ideas, but to create a culture in which everyone can have ideas and feels valued. So there are two points of views: instructivism and constructivism. The instructivism focuses on the teacher-based curriculum, and constructivism is student-based curriculum, where teacher is a facilitator, he advises, he plans, and the students acts. And so, in this way, the communicative language teaching and the task-based learning approach, they are most fruitful for this. Let's discuss our further topic: learning styles. Learning styles are the ways individual learn best. They are an individual's natural, habitual, and preferred ways of absorbing, processing, and retaining new informations and skills. And multiple intelligences. Gardner suggested that people process information, they learn differently. and according to their dominant intelligence styles. So he proposed eight intelligences initially, and he challenges the idea of one style fits it all. So, multiple intelligences, as suggested by Gardner, there are eight intelligences. Some students are, we can say, some learners are world smart, and some are number are reasoning smart. They play with numbers, and some are picture smart. They are special intelligence, and especially the millennials who are visual learners and they have a short span of attention. So the teacher needs to prepare his plan according to different intelligences. And I want to share with you the experience of my own classroom, that as a facilitator and teacher trainer for the primary school teachers, and you know that when teachers become a student, it's very hard to control them. So we were in the process of our class, and someone talking, and they were busy in the classroom, and some were with me, they were following me. But I had to the activity was about the present simple tense, and I had to draw a diagram on the writing board. So when I was drawing that on the board, I realized that there was complete silence throughout the classroom. I thought that what happened. When I looked behind, so I noticed that all the students, all the teachers, they were really teachers. So all the teachers were interested, and they were looking at the board for the activity, that what is he going to write. Because when you speak, so many people don't understand, they may don't understand, but when you write in with the help of a diagram or a chart, so they understand more easily. There are different classroom participation styles. Students participate in the classroom differently, and I myself was a dependent student, and probably still I am a dependent student when it comes to learning. So the dependent students need the teacher, and they don't ask for help, but they need guidance, and the teacher, they rely on teachers, so teacher should have attention of them. And others are isolated students and alienated students. So the isolated students are those students who never ever ask the teacher, and they are often uh, unseen in the classroom, and it is the teacher's responsibility to make them learn and make them practice and participate in group activities, because cooperation is very important for a classroom. You know, the others are alienated students. They are the backbenchers, and they often become hurdles not only in their own learning but also the learning of their peers. So the teachers, they sometimes create, and we can say that they always create problems for the teachers, and the teachers can't every time complain to their parents or the principal, the headmaster, or the authorities. So as a team leader, teacher has to plan his lesson with a special focus on isolated and alienated students. They should become part of the classroom where they feel comfortable. The alienated students should be assigned a task, and they need to be in a special and personal relationship with the teachers. So they make comfortable and they make confidence, they make sure they feel shareholders, stakeholders. So they, I hope they won't create problems. And the isolated students, it's the teacher's task to identify them and make them learn, because every student in your classroom is someone's whole world. Now we come to learners retention. Edgar said that learners learn more by interacting and active learning rather than simply looking and reading, that is passive learning. He also suggests that engage the students with the material, and in this way they can retain the material. I would also like to share with you Richard Kahan, who discussed in one of the American English webinars that a new vocabulary which we learn needs to be practiced 6 to 10 times if we want to shift it from short term memory to long term memory. And that is because we notice in our classroom that many students understand everything in the classroom, but when it comes to assessment after a month, after or after a year, they don't remember many things. So the thing is that, as Richard Kahan says, that the new material, the new vocabulary, they should be practiced 6 to 10 times differently in order to be shifted to long-term memory. So in this way, as Edgar says, that learners should be engaged with the material for retaining the material, and they understand, they learn 90% of what they do. So I hope you have taken attention of all these things. Uh, it's enough for today, and thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zafar, for this wonderful webinar. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please feel free to write us at on eteacher@evolution.com.pks. Happy teaching and happy learning. Thank you.